Chelsea's former Manchester City favourite, Clive Wilson, who's dropped to substitute. Kevin Wilson will play up front with Kerry Dixon, who's scored on each of his 3 visits here with Chelsea. Jury will start on the left-hand side of midfield. But whatever happens, the day already has one happy story. Paul Lake swallowed his tongue in a fearful collision here last Saturday. His very life was in danger. But Lake is back in action this afternoon with no lasting damage, thanks to the club's medical trainer, Roy Bailey. He saved Lake's life, and now, as a matter of policy, the club doctor, Norman Luft, will always be on the bench in case of emergency. Referee Bob Nixon, who comes from the Wirral on Merseyside. Well, that's a new variation to the banana theme, an adornment to the headgear. It's a wintry afternoon at Main Road, but a very warm atmosphere inside the stadium. Manchester City defend the goal to the left in the first half. Chelsea have a very impressive record on this ground. They've won here in their last 5 visits. Tony Dorigo, their left-back, currently, of course, a member of Bobby Robson's England squad, as is the goalkeeper, Dave Bessington. I'm sure Manchester City will be surprised that Jury's been included in the starting lineup. It is something of a risk. Well taken by Morley. Dixon slipping the ball away from Nixon. Jury to the left. Kevin Wilson trying to stay onside unsuccessfully. But Chelsea will feel, I'm sure, that they might catch Manchester City with a square back line here. And they've got the pace to get away if they can time their runs. White. Morley for Mixon. Oldfield and Gleghorn are in the centre. Manchester City have a free kick. They're looking to get some movement into it. In fact, they took it a little too quickly. The delay has allowed Brian Gale to come forward. Oh, and Besant lost it initially. Gleghorn going in the centre with Morley. Gale, who was way beyond the far post, wasn't involved in the end. Besant was called upon to make the save, and by his standards didn't make it very convincingly. McNabb's free kick. Gleghorn met it. And there was Besant's fumble as Brian Gale, his old Wimbledon clubmate, followed in. Roberts. Well, Gale made the more positive move. Dixon, Gale might feel, didn't try to jump. Dixon possibly felt that, as the referee decided, that he was pushed down. Gleghorn. Here's Clark for Chelsea. Jury switch from left to right for the first time. Chelsea have the corner. And Roberts looking for another goal to add to the 11 he's got already this season. McLaughlin also brings height to the Chelsea set pieces. Dibble is impeded, and the goal counts, and it's Kerry Dixon's. A scrambled affair when Andy Dibble didn't get there at the near post. .15 minutes gone. Dibble went for it. He was impeded by one of his own players. And Gary Megson couldn't keep it out from Dixon. 1-0 to Chelsea. And Kerry Dixon keeps up a run here, which must put Manchester City as one of his favourite away grounds. He's scored every time he's played here for Chelsea. That's 4 in a row now. And he takes his tally for the season to 19. Chelsea, the top scorers in the division, but they've made a mistake here. Dorigo in particular, White couldn't get a cross in past McLaughlin. Best comes for it, doesn't get there. That was Taggart. Like Dibble, Besson finding it difficult to get through the pack, but once the goalkeeper has made the move towards the ball, he's expected to deal with it rather more decisively than Dave Besson did then. And Taggart hooked it back but wide. Clark. Flicked inside by Morley. Oldfield just a little too anxious to please. But the Chelsea fans are in celebratory mood behind the goal to the right. They see promotion beckoning and the championship too. Well, if the bananas aren't exactly deflated, the Manchester City fans are. It's a match, as you would expect, being played at a cracking pace. And there's no question that an early goal in any game always opens things up. Through on Morley then. Accepted in good part, and Dixon, has he got away from Gale? He has. It's Wilson in the centre, 2-0 to Chelsea. They've struck the second blow with 23 minutes played. Dixon having scored the first, out-muscled Brian Gale then. And looked up, picked the pass beautifully to give an open goal to Wilson. And Manchester City in disarray at the back. Their defending has been so good this season. But Chelsea, really the heavyweights when it comes to scoring goals, have brought that goal touch to Main Road. It's Kevin Wilson's 13th this season. Tussle here that was all important. Once Gale was beaten, City in real distress, and it just needed Dixon to keep his head to set up the goal for Wilson, which he did. So there's a striking partnership working to perfection. operating very wide, and Dixon and Wilson must fancy their chances on every ball forward. Roberts didn't play it long this time. Couldn't find McAllister. McNabb. Megson. It's a stern competitor, Gary Megson, who's much travelled now. He was actually born here in Manchester. Gleghorn and Oldfield. And Gleghorn was looking for a penalty that he was never going to get. Gale is there first. Wilson making a real nuisance of himself. Forcing the corner. It's really typical of the way the first half has gone. City unsure at the back, and Chelsea hungry for goals. Two already in their pockets. Oh, arms raised in there. Seemed to make contact with the ball as well. Another look. Came off a City arm. Manchester City haven't been beaten at home since August the 29th, their first home game in the second division this season, when Oldham came here and won 4-1. They face a real tussle in the second half to avoid defeat here. Because it's been a splendid first half for Chelsea. They've really been in total control. 2 goals inside 8 minutes. Kerry Dixon got the first when Andy Dibble dropped the ball at the near post. Kevin Wilson added the second. And Chelsea go in leading by 2-0. So the Manchester City fans are disappointed, but John Bond, I think the big question to you is, should the first goal have been allowed? Was it a foul, or did Dibble lose it there to his own teammates?
I don't think it was a foul. As many times as you want to look at it, you'll never see where it was a foul, Martin. I didn't think Andy Dibble came as if he really wanted to get the ball, and I just got brushed aside, and the ball just dropped nicely for Dixon, put it in the back of the net. Perfectly good goal. There was nothing wrong with it at all.
And for a hope for recovery is the introduction for the second half of the top scorer, Paul Molden, who's replaced Nigel Gleghorn. But in praising Chelsea, as we must do for the way they played over the first 45 minutes, I'm sure City will be very disappointed with what they've done so far. Molden, who's very popular with the fans here, if not always with the management, is charged with the task of changing the picture a little. The last thing City need is to concede a third goal right at the outset of the second half. And Andy Dibble really still at odds with the referee, and I'm sure that stems back to the first goal. Molden is a real snapper up of chances. If City can get the ball into the Chelsea penalty area, they'd have problems doing that. They haven't imposed any real pattern on the game at all, unlike Chelsea, who are playing to their strengths again in Kerry Dixon. Well, he was looking for Nicholas at the centre, and John Bumstead in there as well. And it was another opportunity for Chelsea. McLaughlin! Oh, and that was close. Joe McLaughlin was a scorer here the last time Chelsea played in a league game on this ground. And it was a straightforward, out-swinging corner, aim for the big man. Megson. Now, White. Can he get past Dorigo? Well, he opts instead for the cross that didn't get very far. Roberts blocked it and supports Jury well. The ball dropping over Gale, or so it looked, and Dixon might get it yet. Wilson's offside in the centre, he's got back onside now, and Dixon sets up the chance, but not the goal for Wilson. Not a replica of what happened in the first half. I wonder whether Chelsea will regret this if Manchester City can manufacture a late recovery here. Clark. Away from McNabb. This is Nicholas. Dorigo. Jury is there if they want to keep it going from right to left. And they do. Dorigo in behind Manchester City. It's a question of the positioning in the centre now. Dorigo didn't settle for the corner. Jury. Good tackle for Manchester City by Lake, who almost overdid it then. This is Gale, Lake, Morley. And it's Taggart through the centre with a moment of glory facing him. He went to hit it first time, but it was City's best move of the match. And there was the 18-year-old left-back on the end of it. Dixon. Here's Gale. Dorigo kept his eye on the ball and wasn't distracted by White's presence. Mulder. That's Morley, and it didn't come for him. McLaughlin defended stoutly then. But Manchester City have a corner. Besson backpedaling and flipped it over from Gale. There's bedlam around the ground. It would be uproar if City could score now. Besson's lost it. Oldfield, was there a handball? And then Taggart had the final touch. Certainly an incident which would bear a second look. There was Molden, blocked by Besson. Oh, it was the thigh of Dixon, not the hand, and Taggart put it wide. Bobby Campbell is going to change things. Gordon Jury, visibly tiring, replaced by Clive Wilson, who was such a Manchester City favourite in his time here, born locally. He transferred his loyalties successfully to Chelsea. Clive Wilson comes on at the game's three-quarter point to try and shore things up down that left-hand side for Chelsea. Megson. Oldfield. Morley Needed help to his left, it came from McNabb. It's Morley. Molden will jump with Besant. Oh, and Dave Besant hasn't been at his most convincing either. It's as if the particular atmosphere of this game has got to both goalkeepers. Blake doing the retrieving. And a very ambitious pass that came off for him. Good ball by McNabb. Taggart. Gerald Taggart does not look out of place in this company. Chelsea starting to bend a little here. And Dixon got the head to it. City claims for a penalty. Lake dispossessed. And it's an amazing break by Chelsea. And Tony Dorigo, who goes round Dibble and finishes it all in style. And Chelsea, having been under the collar for the last 10 minutes or so, have broken the length of the field to go 3 up and surely quell the Manchester City fire. Dorigo, the player who found goals so hard to get before this season, only 1 league goal to his name. And this is his 6th of the season, so adventurous have Chelsea been. And he spotted the moment then and made the most of it. Just under 20 minutes left. It's Manchester City 0, Chelsea 3. Well, Dorigo accomplished that. He puffs out the cheeks. It looks so easy sitting on the sidelines, but to attack the goalkeeper with pace, keep your nerve, keep the ball, go round the keeper and then cut it into an empty net. He did it with aplomb. They tried to take a step up the ladder, but they've slipped back down again, Manchester City. Dixon. And McAllister, Wilson. The goal is gaping and he couldn't find it. And Dibble, understandably furious with those in front of him. He half bailed out Manchester City. In fact, it was still a very good chance for Wilson. He could have had a hat-trick here. 2 clear-cut opportunities in the second half, which he's missed, in addition to the one he took before half-time. Morley. This is White. It's a corner. It's still even 3 goals down, or because they're 3 goals down, everyone is forward, except Dibble. Megson! Frustrations of Manchester City. It's a frantic scramble. Besant could hardly have had a clear look at it, but it was outside the post from Gary Megson, not inside as City desperately needed. got the better of Roberts. Penalty. Paul Molden's persistence has paid off to the extent of earning Manchester City a chance of getting one goal back. I must say it was a decision which didn't immediately leap to the eye. Roberts shakes his head. McNabb then against Besant. And he sends him the wrong way. It's back to 3-1. A contentious penalty. But McNabb took the chance. "13 minutes left. McNabb scored it. Molden won it. Was there some holding initially by Roberts? As McLaughlin went across, he clearly played the ball. Came off Morley. McAllister. Chelsea on the counter-attack again. Oh, and McAllister caught in full flight by McNabb, and the book is coming out this time. McAllister was winning the sprint. Challenge there by McNabb. That dents his disciplinary record further. There's a new meaning to the expression "making tracks down the touchline." McAllister recovered quickly enough. McNabb has to get some distance into the clearance. Megson, one last chase for Molden, and McLaughlin's misjudged it. No time for niceties now for Dorigo and McLaughlin. With a last long throw for Manchester City. And Molden, and surely a goal for Taggart. 3-2 in stoppage time. Gerald Taggart, the 18-year-old, his first in the first team. With Chelsea struggling to get the ball away, and it ran invitingly for Taggart, who accepted the invitation. Lake's long throw and Gale's intervention, then Molden caused the problems. And Chelsea find themselves hanging on at 3-2 after being 3 goals up. Taggart joining McNabb on the Manchester City score sheet. But still, Bobby Campbell's Chelsea go back to the top of the second division tree. Tony Dorigo, their scorer in the second half, when life was much more difficult for Chelsea, although they missed a lot of chances. Kerry Dixon's goal got them on their way in the first half. Kevin Wilson got the second. City fought valiantly in the second period, particularly after they'd gone 3 goals down, and were rewarded by scoring twice. Chelsea have avenged their defeat by City at Stamford Bridge in September. The final score at Main Road, Manchester City 2, Chelsea 3.
Today it was a big game, of course. We're away to the leaders of the league, and the boys have risen to the occasion and proved once again that they're not bad players.
Championship winning class players.
Well, that's very nice of you to say so, Martin.
It was more of a question.
Oh, was it?
Well, we've lost games and before, and we've shown a lot of character in coming back and picked ourselves up. Well, I think today's game, it's certainly going to be good for the younger players, for experience-wise, and hopefully put us right in the future. But, you know, there's a long way to go. We've got 11 games.
and no doubts that City will make it at the end to one of the two top spots.
Well, we're hoping that, yes.
Well, all those people who've been saying that Manchester City had arrived were given a real lesson today and shown by Chelsea how far they've got to go. I mean, it really wasn't any contest, Martin. I thought Chelsea were magnificent. I thought their front people ran him Dixon and Wilson ran the central defenders of Manchester City ragged, and really they were different class in all departments. I still think that Manchester City and Chelsea will make the first division. And probably both of them deserve to, but on today's performance, Chelsea were different class.
Well, there's more on Manchester City and Chelsea coming up in memory lane. And Blackburn Rovers take centre stage in a comprehensive second division roundup. That all comes after the break. Down the years. See for yourselves as once again we go down ITV's memory lane.
Torrential rain now, sweeping across this Stamford Bridge ground. Here's Bell, a real chance. Yes, he's got it. Header on for Bell again, put through by Bowyer this time. Webb's tackle, but it's only come as far as Young, and it's hit across beautifully. Bell! Chip from Oakes finds Doyle. Doyle under no pressure just rolls it to Jeffries, and Jeffries wins the tackle from Weller. To Doyle. Bell. Book going up on the overlap. And Bell has made space for himself. Good shot! Could so easily have been three. Jeffries. Jeffries again. And there it is from Bowyer.
Webb, McCready, and a free kick given to Chelsea. McCready a little annoyed with the referee, they're not playing the advantage. Never an easy thing to do, but now here's Osgood with a great chance and a goal! And a goal by Osgood! And Towers now with a deep corner. Summerby getting his head to it, turning it down, and Miller turning it in! And the goal given, 1-1. And Miller the scorer. Steve Kemba. Hudson. Towards Osgood, and Osgood got a head in and nodded it down there for Houseman. A tremendous goal. A tremendous goal by the substitute Houseman. Losing touch there. They've pushed him onto that far touchline against Ron Harris. Onside, Mike Shannon. Only a fraction, but he was. Is it the opening goal? It is. And Shannon has scored it for Manchester City. Shannon looking very lively indeed. Scorer of the City goal. Leading 1-0, finding Ron Futcher. Hartford coming in quickly. Hartford took that well, controlled it well. Oh, and he hit the post with it. Well, they tore Chelsea apart there. Now Mackenzie. Oh, and that was a good header into the side net by Tommy Langley. Ron Harris. My word, it was into the side netting, and half the crowd here at Stamford Bridge thought it was in the back of the net. My word, what a rifling shot there from Harris. Shannon, a nice header now for Futcher, and the second goal for Manchester City. And again, Chelsea caught out badly in defence. Shannon, Hartford, what a lovely move again to Ron Futcher, and that's number 3. What a beautiful City move. Barnes with the kick. A deeper one this time. Bonetti, oh, it was a little too high for him. Hartford turning it back in again. A hat-trick for Ron Butcher. That's his third and City's fourth. Now, can Stanley whack that one in? Oh! And a header, and it's into the net. No, yes, it crossed the line, and Barry Stanley will be credited with that one.
Stride, a youngster who's made it this season in the Chelsea side. Harris, not a very good clearance. Hartford. Power, well found by Hartford. That would have been an excellent goal in any conditions, but here it was a little miracle. Oh, Mackenzie curler. It's gone in off Corrigan's hands. But the linesman has got his flag up on the far side of the field, and the referee is going over to talk to him, and I suspect that that's going to be ruled out. No, it's given. Referee had a word with the linesman and pointed to the middle, so Duncan Mackenzie is credited with his fourth goal for Chelsea. Kidd. Allowed to go on. Chelsea maybe didn't see the highlights of last week's game. Deflected shot from Ron Butcher, and he's got a goal. Barnes. Unavailable. Barnes tricking, trying to find room for a cross. Skids over low, and a great save from Bonetti from Dana. The two big fellas up there, Droy and Wicks. Wicks they're looking for, and they found Droy and Osgood, and it is now 2-2. It was a corner at the other end just a minute or so ago that produced Chelsea's goal. What now can City do? Couldn't make contact. Owen losing it to Langley, and Walker is chasing it, and Corrigan has come to meet him, and Walker has slipped it under him, and Chelsea are in front.
So 3-2 in 1979, the first of 6 successive victories by Chelsea at Main Road. The latest, of course, yesterday, by the same score. But what of their current promotion rivals? A look now at yesterday's action involving the 4 closest challengers to Chelsea and Manchester City. We start with third place West Bromwich Albion. Richard Keys has the story.
At the Hawthorns, West Bromwich Albion made heavy work of it against Brighton. They had keeper Stuart Naylor to thank for keeping them in it in a first half dominated by Brighton, who have started to put together a run in recent weeks, pulling away from the bottom. Naylor denying Gary Nelson on this occasion. Albion, in fact, made to wait until the 85th minute for a decisive breakthrough. Kevin Bartlett, the scorer. Even then, it was only just, but Albion still on course for one of those playoff places. West Bromwich Albion 1, Brighton 0.
Ewood Park, a paddy field as fourth place Blackburn Rovers took on Hull City. Howard Gale and Andy Kennedy avoided the puddles to set up Simon Garner. Blackburn won up after 29 minutes. A goal Rovers really needed to restore their resolve after 3 consecutive defeats. The Blackburn second came in the second half from a disputed penalty. Goalkeeper Ian Hesford played the ball but also caught the trailing leg of Scott Sellers. The penalty was given despite Hesford's protestations. As for Sellers, he simply left the referee to decide. Gale didn't look the gift horse in the mouth. 2-0 with 21 minutes left. Blackburn certainly made the most of the time that remained. Gale gathered his second, and no doubt about this one. A goal to warm the Ewood faithful on a dismal afternoon. By now, Hull had little left to offer, and their defences breached a fourth time 4 minutes from the end. Kennedy rewarded for his efforts. The Scottish striker has always had a touch of the showman about him. His idiosyncratic celebrations summed up Blackburn's joy as Rovers returned to winning ways.
At Valley Parade, Bradford were going to need some of their early season cup form against Watford. They've struggled in the league and looked set for another disappointment when Paul Wilkinson, who had a hand in the build-up, turned in Glyn Hodges' pass. Then 2 goals in 6 minutes for the home side that turned the game upside down. Nothing too fancy about the first. John McClellan caught out by Paul Tomlinson's huge kick, Mick Leonard scoring. A draw not really much used to either side. Bradford stepped up the pace and were rewarded with a penalty when Paul Wilkinson, of all people, is adjudged to have handled in his own box. Fierce protests from the Watford players, who can see crucial points about to slip away. Greg Abbott it is charged with the responsibility. Abbott keeps his nerve to secure a vital win for City, a result though that Watford could well have done without in their chase at the top. Bradford 2, Watford 1.
Next stop, Portman Road, where 6th place Ipswich were strong favourites to see off those perennial second division strugglers Shrewsbury. Yet it took 77 minutes and a retaken Dalian Atkinson free kick for the form guide to prove correct. The Ipswich Atkinson is a target for the Sheffield Wednesday manager, Ron Atkinson. But Dalian's goals might take him into Division 1 with Ipswich. He certainly packs a wallop in that right foot, and his second 5 minutes later sealed a 2-0 Ipswich win. Well, that win lifts Ipswich into 5th place above Watford. Those victories also for West Bromwich Albion and Blackburn, and of course the most significant of the day from Chelsea. They moved back above Manchester City, 2 points clear now, still with a game in hand. 40,000 fans braved the rain at Main Road, a terrific crowd for a terrific game. Manchester City earned marks for a gutsy finale, but on the day the championship class came from Chelsea.